You're listening to Moon Monkey with Matt and Andrew. On this episode, we'll be discussing Murder on the Orient Express, directed by Kenneth Branagh.
So, based on the Agatha Christie novel, it's another adaptation of the character of Hercule Poirot, this time played and directed by Kenneth Branagh. And yeah, it's a long movie, it's a long train, it's a very long moustache. I'm going to be honest with you, for the first 15 minutes I really struggled to cope with his moustache. It's all I saw, it's all I cared about. It's like 3 moustaches in one. It's quite a spectacle.
Yeah.
I feel like all the budget went on the moustache.
The moustache did have a starring role in the movie.
It did. It probably yeah. I mean, I hate to imagine how much that moustache cost.
It was a key character.
It really was. Big cast. First of all, we'll talk about the cast.
Yeah.
It's a really all-star cast.
Yeah, there was a great cast. Kenneth Branagh playing Hercule Poirot, who's been played a couple of times before on film and television shows.
I think
long-running television show in the UK.
Famously in Britain, it would be the ITV Poirot.
David Suchet?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. But yeah, he did a great job, I think, with Hercule Poirot. He was quite comedic, and he sort of had OCD. Like, everything had to be really balanced. I don't know, that part of it, I felt like they were kind of copying Sherlock a little bit. Again, like from the BBC Sherlock show. Like, he was almost sort of excessively OCD and, like, so good at detection. I think, like, in the novel or in the earlier Poirot, he's like, just a regular detective. He's just very, very good at his job. Whereas this, like, they give him, like, almost supernatural abilities.
If anything, that's his thing. It's like, if anything's out of kilter in the world, he notices it. Be it a tie, or somebody stealing a painting, or murdering somebody. He will, anyway, who else was in it? There was loads of people.
Johnny Depp was playing Ratchet, who's sort of like a shady art dealer.
Yeah, I like to think this whole movie is about Johnny Depp's career.
Yeah.
We won't go into that.
Spoiler alert. Daisy Ridley was really good in the movie as well, playing a teacher or governess.
Yeah.
And she was really good. She had a sort of character where she was really into investigation as well and chatting a lot to Poirot about what he's doing and that kind of thing. Michelle Pfeiffer was in it. Judi Dench and Olivia Colman were playing sort of a wealthy princess and her servant.
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz, Josh Gad, also one of Johnny Depp's followers. Leslie Odom Jr. Derek Jacobi, Willem Dafoe. Like, it was an all-star cast, and this was something they really played up in the trailers for the movie. It was
Willem Dafoe was really good at it. Yeah, they really. There's something for everybody. Like, for all age groups, I feel like this is like a family movie. Because when we went, there was like families going, and there'd be like grandparents and younger generation. And you've got like Judi Dench and Derek Jacobi, and then you've got like Daisy Ridley for like younger people and Johnny Depp. And you've got something for everybody.
It was just an incredible cast, and they're all people who are pretty charismatic and can kind of carry films by themselves, so it's just great to see them all together on screen. One of the things I felt was that they didn't have many moments together of like character, because a lot of the film is very much procedural. After the murder happens, it's Poirot gathering clues, interviewing people, but I felt as though there weren't that many, I don't know, emotional moments. It was more sort of here's another clue. Oh, that's opened up this new avenue of investigation. Here's another clue. It was kind of very much by the numbers. There were no sort of emotional outbursts from many characters until near the end of the film.
Yeah, they really kind of focus on the murder mystery whodunit, which seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's a murder mystery whodunit on a train.
And it was sort
of... But
yeah,
I know what you mean. There wasn't a lot of interaction with the different characters and stuff. It was very much like that. Poirot was someone else.
Yeah.
Poirot was someone else.
Poirot had his moments because he was like reading his Charles Dickens book, which he was loving.
There was a lot of funny moments.
He was laughing at it, and he had moments when he's like poking his head round the door. So Poirot had a lot of moments. It was like the others didn't have too many character moments.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, that's their trait, or that's the thing that they do.
Yeah,
so it was really hard to get into like some of the other characters. Again, it was like one of the issues with having such a big cast. They only get like a small portion of screen time. But like Willem Dafoe, he was one of the others that did get like sort of there was a twist in his character, and his performance was kind of you got a sense of who he was, where some of the others you didn't. They were literally just there to give plot exposition or explain something that happened in the past.
What I liked about it was there are some really good scenes and some really good camera work when it goes above the characters and you're moving around the train.
Yeah.
Above it, I really liked that. That was quite interesting. Some
they had the overhead shot in Kill Bill or the end of Taxi Driver.
And
visually interesting.
Yeah, but also like they had a lot of like the computer generated stuff outside and the sweeping shots, which still looked very beautiful, but it felt a bit, I don't know, I didn't always love it. I didn't always love that aspect of it.
It felt a bit fake. I felt like if they could have done more real stuff, it would have been better. I felt that, especially at the beginning when they're in Jerusalem and Istanbul, there were some city shots and some things which you could kind of see had been enhanced.
Not that it looks bad, but it just, I don't know, it just lost something a little bit of it.
Yeah.
For me. You know, I don't know. I can't really put
it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel grounded. Whereas it would if they were filming in real locations and you could feel that everything was tactile and there.
Because there is moments like on the train where you feel like it's really building the tension, like who's done it, and is Poirot going to figure out what's going to happen. But then you go outside and it's all a bit, I don't know. It just kind of loses it for me. And also I feel like the cast are really good, and there's some really good bits of certain scenes that are really funny, well written, really good dialogue. But there's other bits where you just feel like it's very slow and dragging. But obviously he's got to methodically go through all these big pieces of evidence. But it doesn't really work for me on that. It's a good movie. It looks really good. Everybody's really great. There's nobody that I'm like, God, they were awful. And the movie was dragged down every time they appeared on screen because everybody was really great. It looked good in places, but that bit of it didn't always work for me.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It just felt very long.
I think the way that the story works, you're given pieces of evidence as the story progresses every so often, but there's never moments where you're left to ponder something. All you can really do is sit and wait for the next revelation or the next piece of evidence to be gathered, because you're sort of in the position where you don't know enough to put the case together until like near the very end. So for most of the time, you can't be intellectually engaged with the case. All you can do is sit and wait for him to solve it. That's what I felt the issue was. It's like in a lot of crime films, what they'll do is they'll have a murder and they'll go and they'll find all the different things, and then you can kind of think about who that could have been as the film progresses and try and piece it together. But this, it was like you couldn't possibly piece this together, because even Poirot couldn't piece it together, like until near the end of the film. So that was sort of the issue with it. Like you just felt like you're waiting.
But you can't start to guess though. That was like for me. I was sitting going, I think it's her. I think it's him. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that was. But then it kind of you were doing that so much that
you can kind of guess. But the way the story works.
I don't think you're going to.
Yeah, we're trying not to get into spoilers, but the way the story works, it's kind of like it could be anybody. So it's it's like really there is no way to guess who it's going to be. One of the things I liked at the end of the movie, so basically, the character who's murdered on the train, it turns out that this character had a criminal past involving the abduction of a young girl and the murder of a young infant girl, and the people on the train are all connected to this somehow. And that's why the person is murdered as an act of revenge. So at the end of the film, there's a sort of moral ambiguity where they're questioning. So Poirot's basically saying, look, a murder's been done, you've got to see justice for that. But the idea is, well, they've murdered a child murderer. So is that justified? Like, where's morality intersect with the law and justice? So I found that idea kind of fascinating. I quite like that. I think if they'd have set that idea going a bit earlier on, and it would have been
the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it would have been like something to chew over as the film's going on. Yeah. You would have thought, oh, I mean, I suppose they kind of did. You found out that early on, so I suppose it was something to think about. But they didn't get into it until later on.
There are some really cool bits. So like when he's interviewing them all, it's like the Last Supper, and they're all there. At least there are some really good bits. There's some really good shots, and I think
some really interesting direction and like making it visually interesting.
Yeah. But I really like the stuff with just Poirot's dialogue and his interactions with certain characters, especially like especially like Book, when he meets Book and he's travelling around meeting all these people,
Yeah.
and he's just trying to go on his holiday. It's supposed to be like Hercule's holiday, but he doesn't actually get it because he's again in this cramped, confined space trying to figure out who's been murdered. So I mean that it does work on a lot of levels, but it just feels very flat and a lot. At least I want to like it. It looked really amazing. It had a really great cast, but I don't. It's good.
Yeah, the midsection of the film is definitely drags, and it's like the pace slows down quite a lot because he is just interviewing people and you're just gathering clues and things. But they did quite a lot to try and make it interesting.
Maybe it's just not aimed at me. I don't know.
Like having, like some of the interesting visual shots and direction as they were trying to sort of enliven it a little bit. But yeah, if you're a fan of crime dramas, the other thing is it's very much an older style movie, like you would have got in sort of the 50s or 60s. I can't remember when the original Murder on the Orient Express film was made.
Yeah.
But it's sort of that older style thing where he is just doing detection work. I think we're so used now to seeing detectives running around shooting at people and like getting involved in the case. So it's sort of, there's no forensics, there's no real... All he has is basically staring people out and trying to guess whether they're lying or not. So that was sort of the interesting thing about it. But yeah, if you're looking for more of like an action-packed, exciting thing, this is probably not it. It's very languid.
It's not even like I was expecting Bullet or Dirty Harry, but it was just something wasn't right. I wasn't expecting Poirot to run around with a Magnum 45.
There's not too much emotion because everyone's in a state of, I don't want to reveal anything to you that could give things away. So where these actors are all great and charismatic and can be big and emotional, the film doesn't really allow them to do that because they're playing characters who are trying to keep everything locked away.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I mean, I would recommend it to people. I would probably say, get it on DVD. Like, you don't necessarily need to see it on the big screen because it's more the sort of the acting. Like, there's no big spectacles or anything, I don't think.
Oh, there's a lot of swooping shots and that. You know, it is quite a...
Oh, yeah, there's some...
Yeah, it's not overly... But yes,
there's some nice shots, but it's more like enjoying seeing the actors on screen and their like back and forths and dialogues and solving the mystery. So yeah, I would recommend it to if you're a fan of this kind of film.
If you love Agatha Christie and Poirot, then why you listen to this? Go to the cinema.
It's a good adaptation.
But yeah, it's just I just think I had a fun setup of Poirot. Had some good moments. Looks good in places, but doesn't always work visually because I feel like it loses some of the tension when it goes outside when it gets a little bit computer generated. But I feel like it doesn't really work on its tones like what it's going for as well. I feel like it could try to be quite funny, and then it gets really dark, and there's been like a child murder, and it's people are getting shot and things.
Yeah,
and I don't really know.
The tone varies quite.
I don't really know where it's going with that. But overall, it's a good movie.
A little inconsistent and a little slow, but has its moments.
Yeah, a good movie, but maybe not what you expect when you go in. So that's it for another episode of Moon Monkey. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back with another review next time.